Dime qué tú quieres, papi. ¿Quieres que lo mueva para ti? Mueve, mueve. ¿Te gusta cuando me muevo así? Así.
Thank you, God, for this day we have lived, everything in our life, our health, our family, the guidance you have given us, allow us guidance to the path of righteousness. Amen.
Really, I'ma get that bitch. Revenge is a dish best served cold. She took my son, now my soul is cold. He took my daddy, now my soul is old.
Yeah, man.
That's hot shit right there, man.
So what we gonna do? We gonna dub?
King Chaka ENT. Y'all can check out the music on Spotify, Apple, and other services. Doing what we do 3 to 4 nights a week. King Chaka ENT. From the
She
back
starts
seat.
shooting.
That dude was like, ow.
What was that?
Outside the car,
That nigga
deputies'
got
body
popped.
cameras capturing the bullets flying through the air.
We got shots
It
fired
couldn't
up
have been
here.
a straight
We need
shot. It
back
had
up
to be-
immediately. Start
Are you-
EMS. Start EMS.
What
We got
the
a
fuck?
civilian. We got a civilian hit.
The deputy.
Looks like we got us another hit.
Hey, how y'all doing out there? How y'all feel? Remember, an educated public cannot be controlled. Learn to be active. The views and events expressed here are totally whack and are not necessarily the views of anyone. The name of the show today is Someone Has to Care. And instead of my monologue today, I want to do lyrics, song lyrics. This is Linkin Park, the band. Linkin Park is the band. The name of the song is Hands Held High. Hands Held High. Hands Held High, Linkin Park. Excuse me. They go like this. Turn my mic up louder, I got to say something. Lightweight stepping aside when we coming. Feel it in your chest, the syllables gets pumping. People on the streets, then panic and start running. Words on the loose, leaf sheet complete coming. I jump in my mind, I summon the rhyme. I'm dumping, healing the blind. I promise to let the sun in. Sick of the dark ways, we march to the drumming. Jump when they tell us they want to see jumping. Fuck that, I want to see some fist pumping. Risk something. Take back what's yours. Say something that you know they might attack you for. Because I'm sick of being treated like I had before. Like it's stupid standing for what I'm standing for. Like this war really just a different brand of war. Like it doesn't cater to rich and abandoned poor. Like they understand you in the back of their jet. When you can't put gas in your tank, these fuckers are laughing their way to the bank and cashing their check and asking you to have compassion and have some respect. For a leader so nervous in an obvious way, stuttering and mumbling for nightly news to replay, and the rest of the world watching at the end of the day, in the living room laughing like, what did he say? Amen. They sing Amen for the hook on that one, then it comes back in. In my living room watching it, but I am not laughing, because when it gets tense, I know what might happen. The war is cold, the bold men take action. Have to react to get blown into fractions. 10 years old, there's something to see. Another kid my age drugged under a Jeep, taken and bound and found later under a tree. I wonder if he had thought the next one could be me. Do you see the soldiers that are out today? They brush the dust from the bulletproof vests away. It's ironic at times like this you'd pray, but a bomb blew the mosque up yesterday. These bombs on the buses, bikes, roads, inside your market, your shops, your clothes. My dad, he's got a lot of fear, I know, but enough pride inside to not let that show. My brother had a book he could hold with pride, a little red cover with a broken spine, and the back he hand wrote a quote inside. When the rich wage war, it's the poor who die. Meanwhile, the leader just talks away, stuttering and mumbling for nightly news to replay. The rest of the world watching at the end of the day, both scared and angry, like, what did he say? Third verse. The hands held high into sky so blue. Oh, that's the singing part. Yeah, it says, with hands held high into sky so blue, as the ocean opens up to swallow you. With hands held high into a sky so blue, as the ocean opens up to swallow you. And it goes on like that. Oh, what do y'all think? I don't know. Those words are touching to me. The part, right before the hook where he says, like, they're in the living room laughing, like, what did he say? And it's like the nightly news replay, the leader stumbling and mumbling. And it's like, this is an old song, and it could be freaking written today, and it's very, very relevant. The part where he says, I wonder if he thought the next one could be me, I think we should wonder that. The part where he says, my dad has got a lot of fear, I know, but enough pride inside not to let that show. I think it's a lot of people are afraid and they're just going through the motions, just keeping it moving, keep my head down, one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's a whole lot of freaking strength in that, actually. There's a whole lot of courage in that, actually. And I ain't going to lie. I think that's what they're afraid of. They're afraid. So, but then, because the same tool that they use to control us, like, is the results of that is going to be the same thing that's going to allow them to, their whole thing to fall apart, I think. Because, it's like they want everybody to be struggling on the edge, like, check to check. Therefore, you just go to work and you don't ask questions. You don't protest. You don't try to join a union. You don't worry about voting and all of that, because you have bigger and more important problems and, more and more important things going on in your life, So that's the thing. So then, like I say, the people, they just keep one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other. And we just keep moving. We just keep grinding. We just keep going, We don't worry about it. We make sure our kids are good. We make sure we can eat. We make sure things are straight. One foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other. We just keep it going. But what I think is going to happen is, at some point, there's going to be a revolution. And the people will do the exact same thing, okay? So they're fighting against the machine, against something that's completely unbeatable, basically. But they just keep one foot in front of the other. One foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other, just 10 toes down, staying up, keeping it moving, keeping it moving, keeping it moving, And I don't think that those people have that kind of resolve. The ones that's running the show, the ones that's making things the way that they are, they don't have that kind of resolve. I don't think. I really don't, because they haven't had to deal with that grind all the time. We're in training. We've been getting trained. One way or the other. And a part of our training is just to be able to deal with the grind, just one foot in front of the other, taking whatever pressure is put on you from one day to the next, calling audibles live, during the day, while these things are happening, thinking about the future at the same time and making those plans and making those steps and moves for that at the same time, while you're calling these audibles, while you're keeping one foot in front of the other and just staying up. I don't think I don't think they can do that. I really don't. What's crazy about that is, like, with the cush jobs, the really nice jobs or whatever, they tell you don't have experience, that's the problem, that You don't have the skills, you know. And I beg to differ. I think that these people who live check to check and they're able to move money from here to there to there to here, you know, on a whim because they have to deal with they situations and keep it going and moving to the next month, man. These people that are working like 2 and 3 jobs, these people who are freaking taking care of families at the same time, going to school at the same time. Come on, you cannot tell me these people don't have the skills to be able to run a business or whatever the hell. You know, maybe they need to be trained, but just like anybody else, these people graduate with these master's degrees or PhDs, and they still have to be trained at the job because they don't know what the hell is going on in this building. It don't matter how many freaking books you read, you do not know what's going on in this building, so we have to train you. So then, okay, so then these people that's out here grinding and busting their ass and fucking flipping it, you think these people can't be trained to do that same job? Anyways, I don't know if I was even on the subject. What's up, Pat?
What's up, man?
How you feeling?
Pretty good, man. How about yourself?
I can't complain. The name of the show today is Someone Has to Care. So it's kind of like the idea that, you know, that it's kind of a thing that I probably did a title with the same title before because it's a reoccurring theme for me. But, you know, it's kind of like the one where we were talking about the banana on the sidewalk, you know, and like whose mess is your mess, or if your mess is mixed with someone else's mess, how do you deal with it? It's kind of pretty much the same thing, you know. But I go through the world and I see people, and I saw a clip just recently. It was a little girl and she was sitting on the edge of like a well. It looked like a pool, but it wasn't. It was a well. And there was other little kids around, and then the other little kids kind of like walked away. They had their back to the little girl who was sitting on the thing. And the little girl, like, you could watching the video I guess it's because I'm a parent. But watching the video, you could kind of see what's going to happen. Like, you could see it happening in slow motion, you know? The little girl was just sitting there on the edge and just wiggling forward, and then she fell into the well. And the other little kids, they kind of, like I say, they had their back to her kind of, and they kind of like walked away. These were bigger kids. This was a smaller kid that was on the ledge. And, you know, and then like it was an off-duty police officer came over there and rescued the little girl out of the well. But when I'm watching that video, I can't help but to think about our society, right? For me, that's just the way my mind works. It's like the little kids around that situation. I mean, it's not necessarily right to hold them accountable, but at the very least, they should be chastised. What I mean is, like, it doesn't matter if that's your little sister over there or not. It's a little kid that's much smaller than you doing something kind of silly that they most likely gonna hurt themselves. And you're like, this is not my problem. This is not my child. I'm a child. Like, I'm just over here playing and shit. And that's cool and that's fair. But I just feel like, you know, as a society, we should chastise that child and be like, hey, you saw the little child over there. You know, how come you didn't, you know, intervene in some kind of way, you know, maybe try to say something to her or just pull her away from the edge or something, you know? And I mean, like, again, it's a child. You can't blame them. But this is a reflection of our society as a whole, because you could do that whole scenario as with adults and it would be the same, you know? So, but that's the thing. If we're not as a society holding ourselves accountable for, you know, taking care of ourselves, you know what I mean? Taking care of each other.
Yeah.
That's how we take care of ourselves, is by taking care of each other. Like, it's really simple. Like, and so we should be, like I say, reinforcing these types of ways of thinking, these ways of feeling, these ways of doing, and this ways of knowing, and tell the child, you know, look out for that other little kid. I know that's not your little sister, but do you want to see some kid like die in a well, like stuck? You know what I'm saying? Is that going to make your day? Like, how are you going to feel about that? Knowing that you was close to the situation, close enough to have done something about it, and it could have not happened.
Mm-hmm.
But then that goes again to what I be saying all the time about the personal accountability that we have in our society. We totally have a problem with personal accountability. We always give it away. It's always somebody else's fault. Everything is someone else's fault.
To some extent, yeah. I mean, I think it has become a part of the culture to where we withdraw from each other once we get close enough to each other, because that's
Because they're
where.
afraid. They're afraid of like the truth, because everybody is wearing this fake ass mask and they're walking around and they're pretending. They meet somebody, they want them to like them, they put on their
Well,
face.
well, I'm looking at it more from the angle that a lot of us have been trained to not f with each other. So it's like, all right, I don't want to get in this person's way. Like, you have every good intention for this person, but because you don't want to step on somebody's toes or, get in somebody's way, you kind of, do things that, you don't, where you're not,
And
being
it's wreaking
aggressive.
havoc. It's wreaking havoc on our relationships, because that's what somebody else said. They're much more quicker to walk away.
Mm-hmm.
They're so quick to walk away. You've been building on this thing for years, and you willing to just throw the whole thing away so easily,
Something like that.
and just try to start over. And then there's kids involved. Shit, this is the story of my life. I struck out. I did. I failed 3 times.
Was it you that fell?
But that's the way I look at it. I have to accept my part in it. Even if I, didn't have control. I'm just saying, like, that's just how I look at it.
It takes two, bro. I don't know. I mean, I know I just came in on it, but I personally, from the outside looking in, I don't feel it was you.
Well,
I
because
just felt like
I
that we got involved with some selfish ass people, bro. Selfish ass individuals that
well,
don't know what they want at the end of the day.
yeah, because
Or
I
they
mean, I
want their
feel
cake
like,
and eat it too.
yeah, I feel like, I mean, I don't know the ages, but I mean, it almost doesn't matter. I mean, a kid that you say failed, most likely was failed. Like somebody failed him before he failed. So that's
Yeah,
something.
I'm just saying in my life, because, and then looking at it that way, then I failed my children, all 3 of them, because I couldn't hold it together with their mom.
But it's a two-person. A relationship is not just one person, bro. It's two people. You know what I'm saying? And it takes two people. It can't be no, everybody talk about this 50-50. No, it has to be 100-100. You know what I'm saying? Can't be no 70-30, no 85-20. It's got to be a level playing field. You both got to put in 100%.
Hmm.
And and just from my perspective, my point of view, and being around, the times that I was around, and knowing the type of person that you are, you fell or got with somebody. They were really selfish, bro. They were a bit narcissistic, if you will, in their actions and the way they did things, and you know they're just selfish. They wanted their cake and eat it too. Everything was fine until motherfuckers start standing up for themselves and speaking and calling you out on your bullshit. Now all of a sudden you the bad person.
Yeah.
I don't accept failure. I done been through that shit in my marriage. Going through, it ain't been perfect. It has not been harmonious. It's just now starting to get to that point, and I had to realize it wasn't me. I was doing my part. Wasn't me, just somebody that g- was selfish. She got out. She following behind everybody else, but the same people that you following behind, guess what? They coming behind your back and they in your ear like, man, she's stupid. She got a good man. She better straighten up.
I'm telling you, and then they need to look at those people's lives, That's what's so killer to me. They be taking advice from these people, and their life is a mess. Why you want to take advice from somebody who can't even hold a relationship, and they're trying to give you advice on your relationship?
Hmm.
That's
You know what I'm
crazy.
saying? Dragging her out. Well, I can't say they were dragging her out, but yeah, be going out, hanging out, doing all these things, and they right there behind her back, talking shit. Man, she crazy. Ain't no way I'd be out and about if I had you.
Mhm.
Because and then the girlfriend gonna probably want to slide on in there too. They really jealous. They
Yeah,
Hmm.
I know my
Wow.
I know my worth as a man, bro. I am a bit of a workaholic, but that comes from the way we grew up and always having less than and trying to
That's
create a
what
better
men do.
better lane. But
That's
I'm
what
a
real men
provider.
do. Yeah, I mean that's what real men do until until they can relax, that's what they're gonna continue to do. That's just that's always been the example I've seen. So I wouldn't necessarily like make that like that's what people in your position do. That's-
Uh,
uh,
yeah.
yeah.
uh,
So yeah, what I was saying was somebody has to care, in our society. So that's the thing, and I think that it's infectious too. When because it's infectious the other way. So everybody is selfish and going out and looking out for themselves, and it's like this not my mess and stepping over the shit, and we all hurt as a result. You know what I mean? It's like in your house, if you was to drop a tack, you know, or a needle or something, and you can't find it.
Hmm.
You're gonna really spend a lot of time trying to find it, right? Like you're gonna put in work on that. I know I would, because I'm like I do not. It would be my worst nightmare that I walk away from it and then someone else comes and steps on it. You know, I would feel so bad
Hmm.
because I know that's my fault.
but bro, here's the thing: people would rather run from a relationship and go start a whole new relationship, start over way somewhere else, and do everything, woman or man, do everything that you've always asked of them with somebody else, and then turn around and still be the same person that they was with you. Because if you're not for change, you're gonna continue. You're gonna continue to show who you truly are. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, they're not willing to change. That's why they run. It's so easy for them to just say, fuck it. Oh, I know he good, but fuck it. Let me get out this. I ain't trying to be committed. Oh, I know she good. Fuck it. I ain't trying to work on that. It's
What
easy. It's easy to go start over somewhere else than to,
they
fix what you work, fix what you have at home. And
in their
I
mind is
chose not to.
easier.
Yeah, in their mind it's easier. But at the end of the day, it's not, because you go and you ruin somebody else's fucking life.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
you're working harder, and that's what my dad used to say. It's like you know, being lazy. I can't think of how he used to say it right now. I'm trying to think of the right way to say it, but my brain just went blank. But basically, it's like you work harder trying to be lazy. You know what I'm saying? Trying to not do something or whatever, you end up working more overtime. You get what I'm saying? And it's
Yeah,
so true. It is so true. You
you do.
know,
You think about it as a child, you know your chores to do, and you're not doing your chores properly, and then your parents come behind you and find it. Guess what? That work that you did to be lazy, you gotta now do that shit all over again. So you just double worked yourself
yeah, you're doing
rather
double
than just
work.
do the shit right the first time, bro. Like
Just
I
knock
chose,
knock it out and you done. Now
yeah,
go play your video games or whatever.
yeah. You know,
Hmm.
I could have easily left and said fuck this, but then I had to think about it. I took my responsibility in the part that I played, by always working, being away. I'm like, you know what? Let me see it from her point of view. realizing that she does work a full-time job, and when she comes home, her job just transfers from work to home because she deals with children all day at work. So she's playing mommy at work and then mommy at home. So, you know, I chose to stay there and change, and I be better. But that's not to say I didn't put that pressure on her, and I keep applying pressure. Because if I'm willing to make the change, you're gonna do your part too. And if you can't do your part, then hey, then I can walk away from this shit with a clear conscience. I did everything I could.
Yeah, man, it's crazy how we're so quick to just leave and start over. It's so crazy to me how, and you see how our society is like this. This is very rampant in our society where people are willing to just throw stuff away and start over. And you see what's happening in all the households are broken.
Yeah, and I mean I've noticed this happening. I've seen the increase over the years, and of course it's become almost like you know normal, the way the normal way of life. But even
It's
though I
like
know.
it's getting to the point where it's the process. Like it happens every time. Like it's a certain process that you go through the honeymoon mode together. And it's almost, these kids are almost the same age. It's crazy. I've been seeing it on the internet. It's about the same age when it's past the honeymoon stage. Now, we got problems. You know what I'm saying? The kid is about 2, 3, 4 years old, up in there, about 2, 3 years old.
Mhm.
And now we're not cool, and it's a problem. And they break up. Whose ever side it was? It's like it's like they got bored or something. Like this is not fun anymore. And I think it goes back to what you were saying, Pat, though, because the way I see that is like I say, the mask, and people are afraid to reveal their real self. About
Mhm.
2, 3 years in, that's when you start knowing that person. You know what I mean? Really being able to see them for who they are. You know?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean I mean to really get to the character flaws, the like somebody actually, I guess, even getting to the point where they're as that comfortable to really share, some of their, I guess secrets, to really let the person know who they are, like the kind of things they've done in life, that where what I'm saying, like to get rid of all of your those bones, what I'm saying, like you really, and I mean I think that's kind of, I mean.
I think that people are afraid of, revealing their true selves. It's just like the thing. I think it's related to the part where people don't want to see that they're wrong, or face any personal accountability, because once
Or be
somebody really knows
judged.
you, or, well, I mean, being judged, I don't like that frame, that phrasing. But because if somebody is calling you out on what they know you now, right? It's been 2, 3 years.
Hmm.
They're calling your bullshit now. Are they judging you by calling you out on your bullshit, on your bullshit? And then when the person, because they, they know you now, so then it hurts, and it's like you can't really deal with that. You know what I'm saying? You can't
Yeah.
really deal with no real.
Well, judgment is it might be a little bit harsh, but at the same time, that's still like that's kind of that's taking place. It's like, somebody actually firmly stating, look, okay, I saw what you did. I mean, I was right here. It was. I mean, oh, not. I mean, we're gonna lie about this, or like, we're gonna accept the fact that this happened. I mean, like somebody, making somebody stand on, you know, their, decision, or things that they have done or being questioned about. it's like you really have to, like I said, judgment might be, I don't know. Give me another way to say that, but either way, that's pretty much what it is. So, are you gonna sit here and deny it, or are you gonna, we're gonna talk about it and, you know, figure out how to, you know, how we're gonna deal with this? So, I mean,
Yeah.
it's
So, and I think that our society is to the point where people haven't got to that point with themselves. Like they haven't done that introspection. You know what I'm saying? They haven't spent time with themselves. Again, it goes back to not facing the truth about where they're wrong, because that's where your greatest opportunities are. You know,
hmm
the things that you don't do well, those are your greatest opportunities. So those, the way I see it, that's what you should be focusing on, on an introspective level. And therefore, when you are in a relationship and someone points that out, it won't hurt like that. You know what I'm saying? Because you're like, man, I'm aware of this actually, and I'm actually better at that than I was before.
well, yeah. Um, is that something that, I mean, depending on what these things are, I mean, is that something that uh people have to accept? I mean, because I think, of course we should, but is that necessarily something that each and
I,
everybody's?
I don't think so. I think that it would depend on the on that on them,
That, yeah.
in that specific circumstance, because it could be something that's like really fucked up, that and it may not even be really fucked up. It just could be a deal breaker for that other person, just because they just because sometimes it's pet peeves. Like I think one of the things that we kind of do wrong in relationships is where they say you're not supposed to live together before you get married, you know but I don't think so. I think y'all need a time frame of being together
Well,
to see each other. If somebody snores too loud, or somebody clips their toenails in the bed, or something weird that
but
they do, that it
man,
may be a deal breaker.
yeah, nah, I don't believe all of that, and that's like, I think for a lot of people that's been a setup. You know what I mean? It might work for, I think, rarely for, for a few people, but living with somebody, learning to, what I'm saying, because I mean, if you're taking it, this is something that you're being serious about. It's not like you just, really just playing. This is somebody that you're you know, s- willing to spend the rest of your life with, with the idea that things work out between the two, like things are safe and normal, or like, or I guess, these things that you learn about each other, like everything kind of jams together. But yeah, I can't really see myself, just marrying somebody without, spending that time, and, like, okay, because I guess it's more, and for me, I guess it's more so that, this person has accepted me, because I'm more accepting of people than, than I think that, because I think, to some extent, I'm a weirdo. I'm a nerd. I'm like, what I'm saying? I, what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I'm a little bit different, the average, and I'm more of I prefer the black woman, and, a lot of black women are very liberal, and I'm very conservative, and sometimes those things kind of work, but maybe just for a certain period of time, you know. But
Let's
you
go.
know,
Let's move on. I want to talk about. Let's get into some politics here.
let's do it.
The um, the Republicans are going to use this crime thing. This is what they're going to use to get elected right now. Um,
Don't they
yeah.
always?
Well, yeah, they do, but this time it's bigger, because that's what the news is saying. So I kind of want to talk about that. Let me play some of this.
Are the party of pro-life. I was just thinking about something about the difference between Republican-run states and Democrat-run states. Let me know if you've thought about this, and if you are a MAGA, what's your response? Imagine if blue states had a 40% higher murder rate than red states. Imagine if blue states were only 29% of America's economy and red states were 71%. Imagine if 9 of the top 10 states to get federal welfare benefits from the government, these handouts, were blue states. Imagine if 9 of the top 10 states for maternal mortality and infant mortality were blue states. Imagine if 9 of the top 10 states for gun violence and gun death were blue states. But you know why you never hear Republicans cite the statistics? Republicans scream about law and order, but have a 40% higher murder rate than blue states. Republicans scream about the economy, but 71% of the economy is from blue states, only 29% from red states. Republicans claim they despise the federal government, but 9 of the top 10 states to get federal handouts are red states. Republicans claim guns make us safer, but 16 of the top 17 states with gun violence and death rates are GOP states. Republicans claim they are the party of pro-life, but 9 of the top 10 states for maternal mortality and infant mortality are Republican states. So Republicans and MAGAs, here's my very simple question to you. Everything you claim your policies will do, our policies actually do. So my question is, what exactly are you fighting for?
Okay. Comments.
That's new. That's new to me. And I think that, you know, yeah, that's, I was about to say, I mean, because there's ways to you know, somewhat tank those numbers. I honestly, like, I don't believe that that is true. That's why I'm gonna have to do some research before I really speak on that, because you know, we talking about per capita, or, you know, is this just overall 41%? I don't know about that, you know. And then shit, I don't know. I mean, shit. I mean, if it's true, because that's, I mean, that's why I have to stand with if that is true. I mean, we've got to reevaluate a lot of things. And I mean, you know, I said, I mean, if I'm gonna be honest, I don't believe that, but you know, if it is, I mean, we truly got some work to do. But you know, what kind of crimes are we talking about? You know, are we talking about simple, you know, simple crimes, or are we talking about violent crimes? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's I think a telltale. Like, I mean, we have to have some defining moments when we really talking about this.
And I think that points to exactly what's going on, you know, in the media when they drop certain statistics, and it's just to make your brain go to think about things in a certain way, you know. And so again, he was talking about the murder rate, and so those, what you're talking about, petty, like petty crimes, those are the ones that the statistics that we see. Let me read this comment under this video right here. It says Newt Gingrich said it during an interview at the Republican National Convention when Trump first ran for office. He said directly and unambiguously that his constituents do not care about facts, they care about emotions. Then he said that if his own constituents don't care about facts, then why should he?
Damn. I somewhat remember, like, I mean, because I mean, the statement that I remember that was very similar to this is years ago, I think back in the 80s, when he was on the interview with Oprah, and you know, his, you know, possibility of running for president at some point, and who he would you know, who he would run as. And at that point, he did say he would run as a Republican because Republicans don't think, or they're easy to get over. I don't know, some comment like that. But I think from the 80s up until now, that has changed a whole lot. So I don't really know, but that is something to really to say, because I mean we've seen examples of some of it. I mean, I don't know what the numbers are, but like how they go, what's the guy that the night show, and they send people out and they talk about hey, can you believe, like, it's like, look, Obamacare does this and Obamacare does that and blah blah blah. Like, we should really get on this what is it, healthcare Act? What was the name of it? The CARE Act, or whatever it was. And it's like, oh yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, we should do that. Blah blah blah. Oh well, you know what? Really, that is the
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen examples of that actually being the like, but is that the majority of people? That's the only problem. I mean, we have no idea. But I don't know. I found to be not like during these days that of course, there's a lot more people that's being active in politics. But in my opinion, I think that people who are more conservative, or at least more on the Republican side, usually are a little more, and that's just my experience, have been to a little bit more knowledgeable about what's actually happening in the world.
Here, check this out. This is freaking what's his name? Herschel Walker, bro. Did y'all see any of the clips? Freaking, I ain't gonna lie, bro. The internet is on his head. The part where he showed is it on this clip? Where he shows the little police badge. Let me see if Timmy plugs.
What you talking about? At least I just watched the Walker versus Warnock debate. Herschel Walker, he doesn't need to be a politician. What's he doing? He don't even know policy. But at least he's blunt. That's right. If you don't know what you're talking about, at least keep it brief, which is a rarity in politics. Then you got Raphael Warnock. Raphael Warnock, for God's sake, man, answer a damn question. This guy dodged more questions than a professional dodgeball player. Warnock is no longer a pastor. He's a politician, a typical politician. The only time he shined was talking about healthcare. Georgia, neither one of these two people are good choices. You can flip a coin. Whichever one it lands on, you lose.
Damn.
Have a good day.
I didn't even see that clip. I didn't see that clip.
Me
I
either.
I love this guy, bro. Like, that's the most plainest truth.
Yeah, look, I gotta meet Johnson one day.
He said, what did he say? He said, you can flip a coin. No matter which side it lands on.
You lose.
Oh man, that's so perfect. That's crazy, because I'll be watching a lot of this political shit, and I haven't heard nobody say that. Everybody is saying, one or the other. He's like, bruh, they're both terrible candidates. Georgia, you fucked.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Timmy.
Was that Tim
Well,
Black?
I actually saw Tim Black, yeah. But look, I actually saw something earlier where somebody was talking about how does Warnock lose? Like this is a bad look for the Democrats, because like, how does anyone lose a debate to Walker? So so I mean, I hadn't seen anything. I only heard different things, but this is what one of the you know, he's somewhat of a troll too. So I mean, I can't really give a whole lot to it, but he's just like, damn, like how do you lose to Herschel Walker? Win a debate? You know, how do you lose a debate to old man Herschel?
I got some clips on it. It's funny. I find it hilarious, you know. Before, when I was so much more serious into politics, I probably wouldn't have found it so funny, you know. But it's funny to me, like it's so hilarious.
Yeah.
And Timmy broke it down so clearly, like he said, they're both terrible candidates, man.
Yeah.
Let me play some of this. Am I sharing?
But that's been a common theme for us for some years. It's like
I'm telling you,
that's the scam. Like that's the
lesser of two evils bullshit.
Yeah.
Stir fry shit or bake shit. Choose one. You gotta eat it for dinner though.
Mm-hmm. You can eat it with a fork or you can take it into your hand. However you want to do it. But you gotta get that shit down. Swallow.
And you better clean your fucking plate.
You can't get no Kool-Aid until you finish this.
It's fucking sad. That is really, really sad. And the good candidates get weeded out. Let me play this.
So funny. I am with many police officers.
I cannot believe that I missed last night's debate between a U.S. senator and a child that was excited about his Happy Meal toy. But Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock went up against Republican inpatient Herschel Walker, fighting for a Georgia U.S. Senate seat. And wow. So I'm going to get to not just the big clip coming out of the night over Herschel Walker's toy, but I'm also going to get to a few other clips that are being overlooked because of that big moment, including a clip where I think Raphael Warnock made a mistake. I'm being honest here. I'm going to show you. That said, before I even get to any of this, it's clear what the choice is here, right? Like there's no debate over that. Raphael Warnock over Herschel Walker, no doubt about it. But let me get to the first clip here. This is making all the headlines. So here's Herschel Walker and Raphael Warnock. This is a discussion, I guess, about law enforcement that just devolves into madness.
You can support police officers, as I've done, through the COPS program, through the Invest to Protect program, while at the same time holding police officers, like all professions, accountable. One thing I have not done, I've never pretended to be a police officer, and I've never threatened a shootout with the police. Well, and now I have to respond to that.
We are moving on, gentlemen.
I have to respond to that. And you know what's so funny? I am with many police officers, and at the same time,
Mr. Walker, Mr. Walker, excuse me, Mr. Walker. Please, out of respect, I need to let you know, Mr. Walker, you are very well aware of the rules tonight.
Yes.
And you have a prop.
Yes.
That is not allowed, sir.
Yes.
I ask you to put that prop away.
Well, it's not a prop. This is real. And he said, I have a problem. I never worked with law enforcement.
It is considered a prop, Mr. Walker.
Yes.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
You're very well aware of the rules, aren't you?
Well,
Aren't you aware of the rules?
He brought up the truth. Let's talk about the truth.
Thank you for putting that prop away. And
all right, so I got more clips coming up, of course, but the moderator.
Freaking, it was actual laughter in the background. That wasn't like a laugh track. That was the people in the audience laughing when he pulled that thing out.
They're talking to Herschel Walker as if he's
I didn't even see what it was.
I ask you to put that prop away. Excuse me, sir, you're very well aware of the rules. Just replace the word prop with toy. I ask you to put that toy away. Excuse me, sir, you're very well aware of the rules. I think so. Yeah, that happened. Also, that was over a domestic dispute, which a lot of that in Walker's past. Credit here, David Cross, to basically calling this out back in August, saying here, Jesus Christ, don't give this guy any pilot wings they hand out to kids or really effed. So that's basically what he pulled out there with that badge he pulled out. for health care?
Because if you have an able-bodied job, you're going to have health care. But everyone else have health care is the type of health care you're going to get. And I think that is the problem. And what Senator Warnock wants you to do is depend on the government. What I want you to do is get off the government health care and get on the health care he's got to get you a better health care. So that's what I'm trying to do, to make you independent rather than dependent.
Okay. I have a couple of more clips coming up, but first of all, senators have government subsidized healthcare. It's not, Medicare for all, but it is government subsidized healthcare. So he wants to take you off of public healthcare, or I guess Medicaid expansion, and put you onto a different version of government subsidized healthcare. All right. What's important here are the actual positions on healthcare. So Raphael Warnock wanted to tweak the Manchin inflation deal to expand government-funded healthcare to 4 million people, to red states that have denied the expansion of Medicaid. So as the Hill writes here, a University of Georgia poll last year found 64.5% of Georgians said the state should expand Medicaid, compared to 19.7% who opposed it and 15.8% who said they did not know. So this is what is important. Raphael Warnock is with the people here. He understands how expanding healthcare would help people in his state that need healthcare. Whereas you have Herschel Walker, I don't even know what his position is. I couldn't make sense of most of that. Maybe you can help me out. Most of that it was just word salad. Made no sense at all. But let's get to the next clip here. This is over insulin costs.
Uncaps the cost of insulin. He said he would not have voted for the Inflation Reduction Act, and I think he should tell the people of Georgia why he thinks they should have expensive insulin and why the pharmaceutical companies should be able to charge us whatever they like.
Well, first of all, may I respond? I believe in reducing insulin, but at the same time, you got to eat right, because he may not know, and I know many people that's on insulin, and unless you have eating right, insulin is doing you no good.
Does he even know what job he's running for? U.S. Senator, not personal trainer. The job of a U.S. Senator is to pass things that help people. You can't claim to be for capping insulin costs when you were against the thing that would cap insulin costs, while Warnock voted for that thing. And then encourage individual action as if that's your job as a U.S. Senator. It really is just sad. And look, to be fair, that isn't just, Walker here. That is the Republican Party. It's all about individual action. They try and cut taxes as much as possible for the very rich and do absolutely nothing for the rest of society. So, it's just, I guess it's in line with what their philosophy is. But it really is important to, again, centralize what this job is for. Do you want someone there that's actually going to do something, or someone that's going to, just talk word salad, do nothing, and then encourage individual actions?
What do y'all think? Am I losing y'all?
That shit funny.
Go ahead, speak on it, because
I just, just the way that he's talking, and the way that he's coming, like, I don't even see how he's not. I didn't hear any good points in any of those clips that he brought up that was going to be any type of benefit to the people in the community in which he's looking to be voted in. Yeah, it's like, this dude is a clown, man. He's been a clown since I remember, Yeah.
Talking about Warnock?
I don't know anything about the other candidate. No, I'm talking about
Walker.
Herschel.
Yeah,
Walker.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's mainly to me. It just seems like he's highlighting the faults of Walker, but I mean, at the same time, he's not really uplifting anything that's on for Warnock. So it's just like, I mean, instead of just being blunt and saying what Tim Black said, You know what I'm saying? It's just he's taking sides.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. The Tim Black kept it the most real. And that's why it seemed so strange. It seems so strange because there's two black guys too that's running for that seat, and then you got Tim Black, the black guy. He's saying both of them suck.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, that's the kind of honesty we have. It's like, people still gonna go out and vote because, like I said, the lesser of two evils, and maybe some people are actually like voting more for their moral stance or their like who's gonna be more beneficial to get the things done that they want done. So they people still gonna go out there and vote for one of them. But I mean, this was supposed to be a shoe-in, really. Like there's no way. Like
That's what's crazy. That's true. It should have been a shoe. It's supposed to have been a shoe-in for Warnock, but it's not.
Yeah.
And that just shows how weak of a candidate he is. So
Nobody
Tim
wants
Black
it,
is right.
Well, Herschel Walker is probably going to be the favorite in all of this. He's probably going to be the one that's going to get that position.
Well, the polls show Warnock ahead. I think 5 points, something like that. But whatever, it don't matter. It's like Tim Black said: if you flip the coin, it don't matter. Guess what? You lose. Might as well not even flip the coin. You lost already. It's
heads, heads, tails. You asked
What happens
out.
if nobody votes for these motherfuckers? Like they get absolutely no vote. Which I know they've got votes, but I'm just saying, what happens if people like they both suck? Nobody goes out and actually votes for these people, these two guys.
It would be tough. It's not gonna happen because a lot of times, even though people want to, you have down ballot positions that are gonna be on that same thing. So those, a lot of those are important. And people are gonna go out, and even if even if nobody really supports either one of them, they're gonna go out for those lower ballot ones. And shit. A lot of people just do one side or whatever. You know how it goes, like all Democrat or all Republican down ballot. So then it's going to automatically, because those two guys are going to be on the top. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how it goes. They'll get their votes by default.
Yeah, or does somebody else vote if there's not enough to get, once you finish with the race, I mean, somebody's got to win or lose, right?
That's what it's got to be. So regardless, yeah, at the end of the day, and people are going to vote. So it would be a cool ass thing if you could, it would take a bunch of organization to get it to the point where you can make it. But I don't know how you could do that, because the one side is going to be like, okay, look, they're on this protest vote thing where they're not going to even vote at all, but you know what, we're just going to go in there and vote for our guy anyway. You know what I'm saying? We're going to tell them that we're not going to vote at all for nobody, but then we're going to go in and vote for our guy. We'll make sure he wins. You know what I mean? It will be impossible to to pull that together. Impossible. Let's talk about the jab a little bit. That might wake y'all up. The caption underneath this video, this is Russell Brand. He says, due to a recent strike on this platform, we're now having to censor ourselves from talking about, say, Pfizer stating that they didn't test whether it's the vaccine prevented transmission before it entered the market. We'll do our best, though, and you can do the rest in your own heads. Yes, that's what it's come to. Yeah, so a whole lot of information is coming out about this stuff. How old is this video? What is the date? I don't see it. Pretty sure this was like today. It's gotta be because it's only like 264,000 views. This dude gets so many views. Let me play this.
How some say that the aim of the totalitarian state is to get you to a point where you censor yourself. Well, it looks like they've done it because we're censoring ourselves. But there's some stuff we've got to tell you. So now we're going to tiptoe around the recent revelations from Pfizer. Get ready for some tiptoeing. Hello there, you 6 million awakening wonders. If you don't follow us on Rumble yet, up there on Catch Up, an hour of content every single day. And believe me, over there, the stuff ain't censored. It could probably do with being a bit more censored. It's absolutely bloody crazy. You'll love it. Amazing experts telling you the stuff you need to know in a somewhat sporadic and humorous way. Now, let's get into today's story. Yesterday, we made a fantastic video about Rob Roos's questioning of Jane Smalls, the Pfizer executive, who said,
"Did we know about stopping immunization before it's entered the market? No."
YouTube's guidelines don't allow content about COVID-19 that poses a serious risk of egregious harm. YouTube doesn't allow content that spreads medical misinformation that contradicts local health authorities, that's LHA, or the WHO, that's the World Health Organization's medical information about COVID-19. So suddenly we see that the World Health Organization are a pretty significant organization because YouTube, a private company, take their policies from the WHO and local health authorities. Okay, so if the WHO say something's true, that means it is true. YouTube do not allow you to contradict the WHO in these areas: the treatment of COVID-19, the prevention of COVID-19, the diagnosis of COVID-19, the transmission. Now that's very relevant in this instance. Obviously, to protect our channel from further strikes, if we get one more, we're banned for a week. Another one, we're off forever. I'm talking about YouTube now. On Rumble, you can watch the video we did yesterday. I'd stand by it. We deliberated for a long time about whether or not to post yesterday's video on YouTube. We looked at Dr. John Campbell's video and how he handled a comparable subject, and begrudgingly, we decided not to post it because we want to protect our place on this platform and this community. It's important for us. It's important for our business, important for our movement, important for ongoing communication. Thank God we are primarily on a platform that has a no censorship policy. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, but that means that people will say crazy stuff. Well, we won't. We'll tell the truth to the best of our ability and try to present counter arguments and be honest. We made a mistake a little while ago on YouTube. I didn't think it was egregious, to use a word out of their guidelines, but we corrected it ourselves. Let's not pretend then that these platforms are neutral. They have a policy, and those policies are taken from the WHO. And I think I'm safe to say that WHO's funding comes from the American government, number one. Number two, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. So if I was entirely funded by, I don't know, Haribo, I might occasionally suggest having a Haribo. However, I'm not funded by them, so I don't care if you eat any or none. They're probably not good for your teeth. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. I don't know if that contradicts the WHO guidelines. After a lot of deliberation, we decided, no, we'll put it up on Rumble where we know it's safe, and we won't put it up on YouTube, even though that smacks of self-censorship, which I loathe. But in a way, it shows you how this stuff happens. Censorship, control, what you can say and can't say, is emerging out of peculiar communities that align themselves elsewhere with radical tolerance. It's very interesting to me. Okay, let's have a look at this video.
And I will speak in English so there are no misunderstandings.
Yeah, because you want to be careful, because if there are misunderstandings, you'll be fact-checked right out of here, Dutchman.
Was the Pfizer COVID vaccine tested on stopping the transmission of the virus before it entered the market? If not, please say it clearly. If yes, are you willing to share the data with this committee? And I really want a straight answer, yes or no, and I'm looking forward to it. Thank you very much.
Regarding the question around, did we know about stopping immunization before it's entered the market? No. We had to really move at the speed of science to really understand what is taking place in the market.
Speed of science,
bullshit.
Made up phrase, the market, interesting motivation. So, obviously, those are just the views of that Pfizer executive there and of the Dutch MEP, Rob Roos. So I wonder what Rachel Maddow, Fauci, Joe Biden, et al. Mean here.
You know, that vaccinated people do not carry the virus, don't get sick.
That the virus stops with every vaccinated person.
You want to be a dead end to the virus. So when the virus gets to you, you stop it.
You're not going to get COVID if you have these vaccinations.
This is The Guardian, October 21st. People who are fully vaccinated against COVID yet catch the virus are just as infectious to others in their household as infected unvaccinated people, research suggests. So not that. Wait, this is a July 2021 report by Nature. Scientists who studied a big COVID-19 outbreak in Massachusetts concluded that vaccinated people who got so-called breakthrough infections carried about the same amount of the coronavirus as those who did not get the shot. So not that bit, not that bit. This is the BMJ. Most papers today indicate vaccines are holding up against admission to hospital and mortality, but not so much against transmission. Okay, so why don't you review that information for yourself? I don't have an opinion on any of these subjects, at least not on this platform. You better believe I got an opinion over on Rumble. Watching that after watching this, be like watching like a drunk person. Like, I'll tell you a thing or two about yourself, your bloody wife, your mother.
Anyways, he really points to a good freaking thing there, man. Like, and nobody's talking about it. But it's like, okay, they said, you know, this one thing, this is what everybody was telling us. And then it's like, where did y'all get that information from? You know, it's like, so the guy asked them, did they know if this was true when they put it in the market? The lady was like, no, of course not. We were moving at the speed of science. So we didn't know if it was. So then why the hell was Russell Brand is asking the question, why the hell was everybody saying that this is true? Where the hell was they getting that data from? You know, where were they getting that information that would lead them to think that way?
Well, because in the media and news, it's okay to lie to the people. See, that's like what I tell people, like, it's better to go to the website to get the information because it has to be listed more accurately there. Like, you know, whatever, it was some kind of bill that was signed that allows, you know, our government and our, you know, for them to lie to us in order to, you know, I guess you could say pretty much to fulfill their agenda, but I don't think people realize that. They think that, you know, when, especially when, like, I say it to different people, they just like, oh, no, come on, man. Like, you got to be like, you know, so I take, you know, like, people take me for a serious person, but at the same time, yeah, you must have got that wrong or something. You know, no, this is a real thing. Like, they actually, you know, made a law that allows them to be able to lie to the people. And if you're, you know, lazy and don't research for yourself, you'll live the lie. And then there'll be people who do that'll have different, you know, what you could say alternative facts or just facts.
Yeah,
period.
Man. And what you're saying is true. And it shouldn't be that way. Like these damn commercials we see, people always reciting the shit that they heard from commercials. I hear them come out of their mouth all the time, like the verbatim of the damn commercial. The damn commercial is trying to sell you something. It's not really trying to give you information. Like, you know what I'm saying? You have to remember that. And so you think that you're stating facts that you got from a TV commercial, bruh. Get the fuck out of here. Like, and then people don't take the time to look at none of that stuff and really just think about it. And it's like, it makes sense or whatever, you know, it must be true or whatever. I mean, it is true to a certain extent, but then when you really look at it, you'll realize that it's misleading. It's always misleading. You know?
Yeah, well, and I mean, sometimes it's not just misleading. Sometimes it's a total lie. You know, like from the beginning of their statements and whatever, it's a complete lie because, you know, like their agenda is more important than telling you things that will make you go, you know, like. They can't give you information that's going to go against it because, you know, those people can get in trouble with their bosses.
So,
you know what I'm saying?
As the people, we should pressure our, you know, governments to have laws that say, you know, if somebody's on like a TV commercial, somebody's, you know, in the media as far as like on a official news store, you know, whatever it is, some official, if it's supposed to be official, then they can't be just straight up purposely lying. Now, sometimes people may have their information wrong, and that's one thing, but straight up just like purposely, misleading people, that shouldn't
Yeah.
be
No,
allowed.
that's the part, because I mean, people do make mistakes, and I think there's a certain certain excuse me, a certain amount of information that only some people can will have enough on until they get to a certain part of the investigation, and as you go along, the further because the further you go, the more you're gonna learn. But at the same time, like you shouldn't be able to make, like, I mean, listening to some of the stuff that we just heard, like for them to say that, like, oh, you won't get you won't have no symptoms, you won't get, like, like they assumed that because they didn't know that, but they assumed that, and they allowed them, like, to repeat it and keep saying it, and everybody saying the same thing, and then now, like 2 weeks later, it's a totally different scenario from what they said, last month, and it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just honestly saying, okay, there's a chance. A lot of times people will accept that and still go and do like they wanted to get people to get the jab, but they
And
lied. So
now they have the flu shot. You get that with the jab at the same time now, and it's like the third booster or whatever. They're giving it to everybody, man. It's crazy. They're recommending that you get that. They're saying that because it's getting cold, it's going to get cold, and in the winter time, people could be, it could have a resurgence, because they're saying, like, people are still dying from it right now, and they're afraid that it could get bad during the winter time. So basically saying that we're not out of it.
And so they're actually mixing the shot, the C-19 shot, with the flu shot.
Well, I don't know how it works. I know that you get them at the same time. I don't know if it's the same, jab. I don't know the details on that. Shit, let's look it up while we're talking about it. Fuck it. Because what did I say? The flu plus I don't want to say it. Third booster, or let me say booster should pop up because they're telling everybody to do this.
Health officials are encouraging people to get their COVID-19 boosters and flu vaccines as the flu season gets underway. The director of the CDC had a warning for all Americans during a news conference earlier this morning.
We do not know what will happen exactly during the upcoming flu season. We do expect for flu viruses to spread this fall and winter.
For more on what you need to know heading into flu season, let's bring in Dr. Peter Chin Hong. He's a professor of medicine and infectious disease specialist at the University of California, San Francisco. Doctor, good to see you. Thank you very much.
Morning, Vlad. Morning, Anne-Marie.
So over the last couple of years, Doctor, we've heard officials like, for example, Dr. Rochelle Walensky, worry that flu season will be worse due to a lack of immunity in the population caused by COVID precautions. Everybody's been indoors, at least up until last year. That hasn't really borne out yet, but what do you think is the biggest fear or concern this time around, this year?
So there are a few fears, Vlad. First of all, that flu is coming, like winter is coming. And not only because we theoretically think it's coming because we haven't had immunity for 2 years, like you point out, but because we're seeing it around the world in places that have had winter before us.
Oh my God, bro. They're like, what fears do we have? Oh, we got a few fears, The flu is coming. It's like, yeah, people catch the flu all the time. Like, that's the thing that always happens. Like, yes, of course. I mean, you're not freaking telling us something we don't know. And they're going to make so much money because, the government was subsidizing the jabs. And Biden was like, okay, we're giving it off to private people. They're going to deal with that now. So, but then you still have situations where they force you to go and get like the test. So, but you got to flip the bill on all of this stuff. You're flipping the bill on this this flu shot too. You know what I'm saying? They already made a killing. I think that's the like I say, this is what their plan is. They're just they be always it's capitalism, right? They try to think of ways to make more money, and they also try to think of ways to create like new industries. Okay? And that's what they're doing. They create a whole new like segment of the industry. And they're gonna eat off of it for the rest of their days. Like they're not planning, they don't want this to ever end. You know what I'm saying? They don't want it to ever stop. That way.
What did you see anything about that the flu shot and all that?
Yeah, I was just playing it right here on this video.
Okay, because I got thrown off with a phone call.
Yeah, I was playing a little bit on this video right here. I was looking for how they do it as far as how they administer it. Okay, here's the question right here.
You can get both at the same time. You might be more likely to have a fever, chills. You can take some Tylenol to deal with those side effects. But if you can wait a little bit to get that flu shot, it may be better to wait until October or so because flu season doesn't hit until a bit later.
So they're saying you can get it at the same time. So that doesn't mean it's in the same thing. But that's what they're telling everybody to do is, get both of them. It says, here's the caption. It says, you can get a flu shot and the new COVID booster at the same time. But Dr. Salim Gounder recommends holding off on getting a flu shot until later in the fall, if possible. This was September 7th.
Well, as long as it's not together.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
With
man.
flu season approaching and updated COVID-19 boosters available, doctors are urging Americans to get both. Many experts agree that October is the ideal window to get those two shots. Experts say October is the best time to get the booster and flu shot because it'll offer maximum protection all winter. It is safe for people to get both the flu vaccine and COVID-19 boosters in the same visit, according to health experts. But experts say the important thing is to get your shot when it's most convenient, and it's never too late to get either shot.
I'm gonna have to consult with Bill Gates before I go do that shit.
They say go get your shots, bro.
Yeah, they're gonna tell you go and get 2 of them.
Yeah, you better not take that down there talking about I got a toothache or you got a common cold, goddamn. They gonna,
you need to get
you
the
this
C-Max.
antibiotics.
We're gonna give you another shot. We got another shot for you. Shit. This one goes in your bum.
You know what? You're lucky number 1 million. we gonna hook you up. Bend over.
Yeah, touch your toes.
Shit, they offering 25 million for the first 10 people go get that combination, that concoction.
That shit crazy, man.
You
And
get
so
might not have a chance to cash out.
and what sucks is this is coming from official sources, man. Most people don't have no choice but to just go with that because they're like, man, these are the people. Like older folks, especially, like they just finna roll with that.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you, my wife's grandparents, on her father's side, they were so afraid during COVID. Now I get her grandfather has heart conditions, some type of heart condition. He a healthy looking dude, but yeah, I guess it's genetic or something in the boys on his side or the men on his side of the family or something. But anyway, so like they were like, bro, when I tell you, like they were coming around people, they would have masks, they wasn't shaking nobody's hand, they wasn't had on gloves, this, that, and it's just like, and they saw me right around Christmas of 2021. And they were like, "Are you vaccinated?" You know what I'm saying? And my wife had already gave me the spew, and I was just like, "Yeah, yeah, taking that shit." I just did that for her people. Hell no, I ain't. Look, I got all of my immunizations as a kid. You know what I'm saying? I'm good, bro. I'm out. We truck drivers. We out and about. We around shit. We touch so much different shit. Like, like,
Bro,
yeah.
you look, natural immunity is gonna be stronger than everything else anyway.
Yeah.
And even if you caught it before, they still recommend, the doctor is recommending that you get this shot.
Yeah,
I had it.
did. Yeah.
I caught it before. I ain't gonna lie. I caught it. I had it, bro. I mean, the only thing that happened, honestly, I remember when it first started to hit me, like I had like a headache, real bad headache for like the first couple of days, and then after that, I lost taste and smell for like a week. Like I couldn't smell, I couldn't taste shit for like a week and a half. But I never like, I know that I know there were people that it really took a toll on them. I thank God it didn't do me that way. But
same
that
here.
was
Well, I think because I think we might have got it around the same time. It was last year, right after Christmas, I got it, and it was very light. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I had the sniffles. I had like, little very very slim, small symptoms or here or whatever. But I wasn't down and out. Like I didn't even like I worked like after like the whole time I had it. I was working like no big deal. And shoot, and that's just that. I mean, like I said, I mean, but it was because it was I forget what strand it was called, but that was when Gil Bates was saying like it's a shame that like this whole thing didn't really work because it's messed up that whichever strand it was, like people was able to get it, and it gave people the immunity, like it pretty much like, and I think he was a little upset about that, but
They had to know all that stuff already. They knew that. Maybe they didn't know the thing about like transmission, but they knew immunity shit. They knew that. Get the fuck out of
well,
here.
no, they knew all that, but see, that's the thing. They thought that like they really want to control the narrative so that the fear mongering can get you out and do what they want you to do. That's the part. Like they paid for all of this. Like they made their investment. They gave these people money to produce this stuff for everybody, and they want their money to mean something to them. It may not mean much to the individuals, but for them it means a lot. So, and then they, as far as I guess, trying to make a profit because the government is pretty much subsiding, pay, like giving money, like to pretty much pay for it. Like you didn't have to come out of your pocket, but you paid for it from your taxes. You know what I'm saying? But the investments they have within those companies for them to make a profit from it made a big deal. And they just really mostly want to get you continuing to like get your mind okay. Because I mean, I haven't done flu shots, and like I took a flu shot one time, and it made me so sick that I'm like, you know what, screw it. Like I done had the flu before, and I never got that sick, so I'll just take my chances, and I have for like 30 years, and I've been fine. So.
And your arm be all sore where they shoot you up with the flu shot. You know, it you almost always catch like a cold or something. You always get like a headache or a fever or something.
They got the one now they'll put up your nose. It's like a little vial, little liquid thing. You put it up there, they put it up your nose. That's what they gave to my kids one year, I remember. I actually I took the flu vaccine back in 2017. That was my first time ever taking the flu vaccine that I know of. And I was an adult. And yeah, I'm good. I've had the flu before. I've caught influenza before. Shit, call up. I got a couple of old school friends. I call up and, hey, Miss So-and-so, oh, baby, you need to take this here, get this. Shit, be feeling better the next day.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Shit, give me a hot toddy. Look, let me get the honey, the whiskey, the I think it's a little baking soda or something. Get that little, whatever the little mix is. Take that down. Shit, boy.
Yeah.
With the peppermint. Yeah, you gotta have the peppermint. But
sweat that shit out. That's what I used to do too. I would sweat that shit out.
Bro, that time what I'm talking about after I took the shot, the flu shot, I freaking like that week I was sick. I think I lost about 15 pounds. And during that time I was already small. Like I wasn't a big dude at the time. I was real slim. It's a basketball player. You know what I'm saying? And that's how bad it was. I was like, man, I felt weak. Like even after I was like better, I was still kind of like weak for a whole nother 3 days later, trying to rebuild myself back up to be able to just like get around. So that's why it felt so bad. That's why I'm like, you know what? It made me feel worse than me just getting flu or the cold or whatever I've gotten before that,
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think that people should be mad about this, man. There was all the stuff they did to people, all the ostracization, all the people were physically the way they was. Remember those videos of them people they was throwing on them buses? I think that was in China.
Yeah.
Like roughly doing that shit, like.
Oh shit! They was whooping their ass in the ministry. But look, I'm gonna tell you, people got to be careful too about the test, because they got these things called terraformers. So like when they stick the thing up your nose and it reaches a certain temperature, your body temperature, it releases from the test, and then like it's pretty much the test can give you some of the vaccine, it can give you some of the virus, the vaccine from the test. Because those terraformers, once it, like I say, gets to a certain temperature of your body heat, it'll latch on to it, and then now those things are in your body now.
Well, it's messing with your nose is always a problem because it's like, I know that staph infections and stuff like that, you know, you mess with your nose or whatever, and you scratch, and, you know.
That's why I didn't go to one of those big old lines where they had all the people. You remember they had the people out there in them big old Tyvek suits, them white suits, face mask up, face shield. It looked like some shit from that movie back in the day that Gwyneth Paltrow and Matt Damon made. They're all in them big old hazmat suits out there testing people. It's like, bro, hell no, I'm not going to that shit. Who's to say that they switched their gloves after they tested the person in the car before you?
I'm telling you, like
I ain't
that's the
doing
thing
shit.
with these masks too, like the cloth mask and us touching our face and spitting all on it. We spreading shit with this shit. Like a lot of this shit.
And
Like,
why
come
didn't
on.
they just go by the food? So because you think about it, right? They were telling people to wear gloves and shit. Okay, you're spreading that shit around. So let's say you go to a grocery store. Okay, let's say they did or didn't, or let's say they did sanitize the handle on the basket, but they didn't spray the entire basket down. And you know how sometimes you going through the store, you may grab the other end of the basket, you know, instead of the handle, you know, trying to mosey down the aisle or somewhere. There's a lot of people. And you touch that shit with them gloves on, then you go right over to produce and touch your produce. Then you go right over to the meat department,
No.
touch the packs of meat. Then you go pay for
But
your shit.
no. It don't even have to be that, because just like you said, like they sanitize the handle and this, that, and the other. Maybe the seat part where you might, where you can put your kid, but somebody done already, been reaching inside the larger part of the basket, and you're putting all of your items into that part of the basket that's not being sanitized. So if it's been, you could be transporting it, or to all of your food, just because you're putting into the part of the basket that is not getting sanitized.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's the thing, bro, because it's like I literally have seen people go in the store with gloves on and come right out the store with them same gloves on, put their groceries in the car, grab their door handle, get in their car, grab their seatbelt, touch their steering wheel, drive with them with the same fucking gloves on. It's like, what sense does that make? Like,
No, because see, that's now in the beginning, before I start really understanding, like learning about certain things, like if me and my son, or what, my ex and my son would go out, like they would be wearing three or four pairs of gloves at one time, and after they do certain things, one layer of the gloves got to come off. One set of the gloves is coming off. So you know what I'm saying? So like that was their way of having gloves on, but when they get finished with doing certain tasks, that one layer that's gone and thrown in the trash, and then now they can go do some other stuff, whatever. But like it was like a lot of stuff we was taking a little bit too far. Like I ain't gonna lie, like yeah, maybe some of these things, like you're past it, but I don't think it's like, I think they've like the ability for them to lie to us has been the biggest problem.
And the big, huge, like, psyop they did is really what really mind boggles me. Like, I just see how, like, they just did this whole thing, and then everybody is just cool, and ain't nobody saying nothing. Like, bro, did you not just see what they just did?
Because they pretty much daring people. Because I mean, I would speak on it. Shit, I think something I said got the channel turned off one time. So like after that, I'm kind of like, all right, like I don't want to fuck up my boy's shit,
Yeah.
So I'm like being extra careful. There's so many things that I want to say, but this ain't this. You know what I'm saying? Like I regard it as mine, but it ain't mine.
Yeah. So and that's why they so hard on it, because they know they fucked up. You know what I'm saying? And they just really don't want people talking about it, like because all the data is there.
Yeah, the data is there, and the thing about it is like who the minions and the ones that they got hardcore fools. Like if they can just keep them, where they are with the, being scared or, not understanding and never really going to get real information. Like they want to keep those type of people because they already didn't hit the numbers they wanted to in the beginning. So they at least need to be able to keep a certain amount of those people
I
that.
think they the majority still. It's a whole bunch of them. Because this stuff, it sounds official. It is official. It comes from official channels. Like we were just watching on the news just now. Like most people are gonna be like, that's, and you ain't gonna be able to argue with them.
No, I mean, shit. I look. I mean, I think I've been cut off from. I'm not gonna say what family member, but some of my family, like shoot. I think they're done with me. Shoot, I used to talk to them pretty regular, and now it's just like. But I mean, it was gonna have to come to this at some point anyway, because I mean, or you see it this way and I see it that way, we totally disagree. So I mean, you coming to my house is not an option, and me going to theirs is not one. So but I mean, I figure, okay, at least we got the phone. Shit, we can FaceTime. We can, we can still interact, but because I'm so, like I guess radical. I'm the one that's radical, but they don't realize how radical they are by, like you believe in shit people saying, like you don't even know half the story. Like you just taking people's, what I'm saying? Like people lie all the time. Like
women lie, men lie, numbers don't.
Well, and I mean, shit. Sometimes they do, but
Well, they have to be It has to be orchestrated.
Right.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Well, I'm saying men and women can lie in the numbers. Give you false equivalence of an idea that's really if you got the actual counts, like that's just like VAERS. Like you go to VAERS, it tell you like based on the percentage of people who have actually reported all of the damage is done to these people. But
and they teach us in school that you always have to look at like the back, like what were the questions asked on the surveys and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And then the way that they do the charts always are always going to be to whatever point they're trying to make. The chart is going to show that. You know what I'm saying? But you have to look at it. That's why I failed statistics, and I took that shit I don't know how many times, man. And I freaking could not get that damn class because it's freaking, the whole point of it is what I understood was it could be used to make anything look like anything, basically. You know what I'm saying?
It can be manipulated. And that's the thing. Like what you're saying as far as the questions, like the questions that you're answering, like whatever questions that you're creating for this, these statistics. And I mean, of course, like the answers are correct because of what you're answering, but does it really get to the root of people really being able to see this study as as an accurate display of information.
Absolutely right. That's absolutely right. So that's the thing. So, but then people don't take the time to, because they have to display that information. But you have to take another step and then look at it, and then you're gonna be like, wait, hold on, this some bullshit. But most people not gonna take that next step.
Yeah, because I mean, some people like that's the thing. Like a lot of people are told what like the average person really is told what to think, not how to think. And like if you know how to think, if you say if you were interested enough in science to actually do these you have an objective, you have like you go through the scientific process, like you can understand more so how to think through different questions than just following whatever because
But when you're that type of person, people don't believe in you. They don't stand by you or support anything you do when you are a person that goes specifically off of the science, because everything ultimately has a science. There's a science to everything, right?
Well, every aspect of life is science. Life is science. Like it like people, and that's one thing. Like I think people forget is like even when you get down to language, it's a science. It's they say, oh, it's language arts. No, it's you can even art is science. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Regardless of how you want to look at it, I mean, when you break it down, there's a scientific process to get to, whatever it is that you're doing. So, but because linguistics is science, so but however, like I think that at some point, like some people would, because they know how you are with like how you think, they might trust you a little more than people that they never met before, because it's like, and like I mean, which what I'm saying, I guess for some people it was kind of like it not insulting. It was kind of like it saddened me a whole bunch that it's like, wait a minute, you mean to tell me like my word doesn't mean more than them people? You know what I'm saying? If I'm telling you what research I've done, then you just gonna get angry and like don't want to talk to me now because I'm trying to give you information that I worked for, that my circles can have good information, and like you're gonna be mad at me? I'm like, shit, fuck. I mean, to hell with you. I go somewhere because I mean there was many people who was like, they know me, they know, oh, okay, yeah, he shit. I'm gonna listen to what he, at least giving me fair shake at the information, and shit, you can go test it yourself. I give you different sources you can find. Like that's the thing, I got sources. A lot of them people that you listen to, they ain't giving you no sources. They just telling you to shut the fuck up and do what I say.
I want to play some of this. It's Brianna Joy Gray. She was anyways, I ain't gonna tell her backstory. That's too much. The name of this is called What Does It Mean to Trust the Science? We were talking about that, and I was watching this, I don't remember, but this was on my timeline. What does it mean to trust science? Brianna Joy Gray. I want to read some captions underneath it before I play some. The first caption, it says, this conversation touches on something that I noticed at the start of the pandemic. It was trippy to watch fellow leftists protest against brutality and economic inequality en masse while placing absolute trust in the institutions and their corporate hegemonies that uphold the injustices they were protesting at the same time. I know it's been beaten to death, but this is an uncanny practical example of the term doublethink. From George Orwell's novel 1984, it's legitimately terrifying how much control the government, media conglomerates, and other moneyed interests have over the flow of information and the discourse around it. How can we claim to be a functioning democracy when the institutions that operate within it actively work to obfuscate reality? Our government has truly become a grotesque parody of what it claims to be.
Beautiful. I love it. Like, bro, like, that's a true analysis. Like, now that's scientific. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? He went through this. I mean, I'm just saying, like, that's a great observation of everything that we're going through. And like, I couldn't say it any better, bro. Like, you know, everything he just said is like what I've been trying to say the whole time. But, you know,
that part is crazy where he says, it's trippy watch fellow leftists protest police brutality and economic inequality while placing absolute trust in institutions that uphold the injustice that they were protesting at the same time.
Beautiful. It's delicious. Like it's like I love it. Like
that's some true shit right there. Like that's so crazy. And he said it's doublethink. That's what I was saying in the other show. Like it's got to be like a disconnect in your mind. Like the left brain not talking to the right brain. Like I don't fuck with you no more.
Like because see, it's like it, and that's what was so hard for me. Is just like the very people, you know, that finds way to, you know, get cops off for killing the people that you angry about that's dead now and have no, you know what I'm saying? Like these are the same people that you're like, you know, oh, now they're for me in this situation. Like,
yeah, it's trust the science, thin blue line, you know, back to blue.
you know, that's what I'm saying. Like, what kind of, like, it was like the psyop, it was so real, bro. Like, people had turned from human to freaking robot. Like it was like
Mr.
MK,
Smith.
Like MK Ultra. Yes, the agent inside of you just came out.
Yeah, everybody turned into Mr. Smith. You better put your mask on. You better. You better get that shot. You know, you better stay 6 feet. You better do all of that stuff.
You see the sticker, sir? Stand on your sticker.
Everybody had a fucking badge on. Everybody was Mr. Smith. Everybody became Dr. Fauci. Everybody.
Bro.
It's that authority. It's that.
It's so amazing to me. It's so amazing to me that, I mean, because half of these people should be living in Europe. Like, really, like, y'all need to move from here. Y'all need to get the hell away from here. Y'all need to head to freaking, you know, some of these already fascist countries. Like, move to China. Like, you know what I'm saying? Y'all, you know, y'all want to follow the rules of these people so bad. Like, that's the place where y'all need to be, because, you know, and some of them might have taken that as a compliment, but no, you special.
Yeah, because they just take all of them. They became cops. That's what happened. Like, not only was it the thin blue line, they became cops. They was like, we're gonna freaking, you know, we're gonna deal with this ourselves. We're gonna make sure you wear a mask. We're gonna make sure you do this and all of this. You know, each and every person, they just took on the authority. Like, they became the authority because we're on the side of the authority, so we're protecting the law. You know what I'm saying? We're doing what's right. You're doing wrong. You're breaking the law.
Yeah, but see, and that's the thing, is like the law. Are you seriously like going, like, you know what I'm saying? But no, like the thing that got me was like, you know, trying to make me feel stupid. Oh yeah, it was a no-brainer. Like you just I mean, duh, you just go, like, why, you know, like, this is the best option. Like, no, it's really not.
You sound like the damn TV commercial. Like
Yeah.
they were probably repeating everything they heard from the damn TV commercial.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
selling it
Because
to you.
trying to sell it to me, and look, they almost got me at one point because of who they are to me. You know, like I'm just gonna be my dad. Like, you know, that was the one main person that, you know, was trying to push me to go do this, and you know, him, my sister, his wife, like, you know, just trying to, like, pretty much insulting me by, or trying to insult me to make me feel like I'm the dumb one. But after everything, like, no, I you know, I'm like, I think in my close family, like, I'm the only one, me and my son are the only ones that didn't do it. And I'm happy about that.
It's a lot of posts about on the internet I've been seeing where people say none of us that didn't get it regret it.
Yeah. Because my thing is, okay, if this is something that's available, I can get it at any time. Like, I need to know more about it, or maybe, like, you know, shit, I don't go get the when PlayStation come out, I don't get the first round of PlayStations. I wait till they got about, you know, a good 100,000, 1 million, or whatever sold, and they good. I know they've been, you know, they're not malfunctioning, because I don't want to deal with the little quirky things that they got to work out in it.
I'm telling you, man, that's a really good analogy, because everybody knows that it's always, they're testing that shit out on you when they first come out with it. It's the same way with the new phone, the newest phones, everything that's like that. And we the ones who find the glitches and complain about it, and they be like, and then they go in and fix it, you know, and re-release it. So it's shit. The brand new cars, especially when it's a new model and shit, all of that shit. So, but then
18 wheelers is the worst, because I mean, there's like, you can come out with a new version of them 18 wheelers, like they always have some kind of what you call it, Deuce? Those
you know, recalls
on it. Yeah, it's always something. So that's like, it's trained me over time that, like, you know, you don't go get the first one, that you just don't.
So then, like, in this situation, we're talking about something that I'm putting into my body that can physically, you know,
even more so important.
I'm telling you, for me to be a little more skeptical or wait a little while until they freaking get it right, type shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. That shit crazy, bro.
But everybody just jumped on it, and that's what the video we were just watching, that's what they were saying, that they hadn't even tested, they don't even know. And that, you know, he asked her that question. But then how can these people say this stuff when they don't really know? Like
they control people they controlled everybody, the masses, by fear. They put so much fear, like all of these people are in the hospital dying. We're running out of space in the hospitals.
I think it's deeper than that. I think it's deeper than that, because like I said, I said MK Ultra, but like people who watch TV all the time, like you know how we've talked about this, like the different sounds.
Yes.
Those sounds trigger people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's you know, for whatever reason, the certain frequencies, because that's what we're built on. We're built on like the earth, like the different frequencies that are in and out of our minds, our, you know, like things that those, like, different things can trigger us. And the more that we get programmed by TV, like for those who watch TV all the time, like they can be hypnotized, I believe.
Yeah, but I think we talk about the same thing, because he said fear and you said frequency, but fear has a frequency. And you see that video that we just played. What did they say? And this is a recent video of them telling them to go take the flu shot. He said, "Oh, how many fears do we have coming up?" He said, "Oh, we got plenty of fears for you. The first fear is this one." And they're like, damn, like they just putting it straight up out there. Like,
Wow, that's like but that's the kind of parody. Like, I mean, what this is, who was saying? Because I mean, it
Did
sounds
you?
like something that would be a parody. I think I missed whatever that video you was. 'Cause you remember I told you I got thrown off the call.
Let me play that little clip again, because that's let me see. I don't even remember which one it was. Let's see if we can find it. I think it's this one where they was talking to the dude. Yeah, this one. Hold on. Let me share. Stop. Present. Share. Give me a second, y'all. Boom, boom. Health officials. It's this one. He was like, how many fears we got today?
Or at least up until last year. It hasn't really borne out yet, but what do you think is the biggest fear or concern this time around, this year?
So there are a few fears, Vlad. First of all, that flu is coming, like winter is coming.
So am I exaggerated? Did y'all catch that shit?
We got some fears. Yeah, we got some fears coming. We got a few fears. Yeah, we got a few. We got a few of them.
That's crazy. But you know what got me, bro, is how many motherfuckers was going around talking about, oh, you won't take the shot, you won't take the vaccine, but you'll go eat at a food truck or some little restaurant, or you're around here just fucking. Say, man, 9 times out of 10, if a motherfucker finna do something with a chick or something, like, you kind of have a know her something, like, or
I hope so.
Yeah, or like these restaurants, like, people don't think about that shit. Like, it's like, I heard that on the Ricky Smiley morning show.
But bro, look, you know what made our immunity strong? Getting our ass outside and playing, getting in the dirt, playing and running through the mud, getting into all the different viruses and stuff that was out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what made our immunity strong. But see, that's the thing.
And
like,
that's
when they
what we've done. We've created this different kind of way we live, where we have insulated ourselves from a lot of this stuff, and we live separately in these individual households where it's only like a couple of people that you really interact with intimately. So we're not really passing around these germs. You know how like they eat, and they still do this in African countries, right? Like they make, like in Asian countries too, they make like a big thing of food and everybody kind of eats out of the same thing. You know what I mean? It's extended family. The drink, the cups, pass around cups that everybody's drinking out of and stuff like this. You know, a lot of Americans will look at that as gross, and dirty,
was that us? No, somebody, I don't know. It was something I was watching. No, you know what? That might have been Black Magic 363, where it was like, for us, when we used to go, like, let's just say, what they call primitive, or like us being uncivilized, we would go down to the pond or to the the river, the lake or whatever, and we would get our water with our hand and drink water with our hand. And it's like, they talked about, well, the high society, the Europeans, they came up with a fork and they got cups and they got this and they got that. It's like, well, yeah, but they were so filthy that they couldn't touch their own food with their hands because of how filthy they were. So that was like one of the differences why they needed a fork. Like, they wasn't washing their ass. They did, like, they would just, what I'm saying? They didn't have, what I'm saying? Like, they didn't even understand the concept of just really washing your hands, washing, what I'm saying?
Okay. I think we're getting off topic. Let's not beat them up too bad. What we're talking about is
I'm talking
the germs.
I'm talking about people of a certain age. I'm not, what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What I'm saying, like,
Okay.
they didn't really understand certain things.
Time period.
yeah, it's a certain time period of people that, because I mean, I think nowadays, I mean, like they understand a lot of these things, but to the extent to some of them are germaphobes now, you know what I'm saying? But we need certain, you know, to a certain extent, we need some of these germs, but you know, you can't, you know, go.
He got that shit. He coughing.
We're gonna catch it through the screen because we was talking about it.
Yeah, nah. No, man. But no, bro. But for real, like, you know, that's the thing that I think that we're really missing is the fact that, you know, yeah, our regular just interactions, because those are the things that make us even weaker.
Right.
Is the fact that we separate ourselves from people, you know, like hugs and this and that.
All
like,
of
I
that.
mean,
Yeah.
it's those things are needed, like, you know what I'm saying? And then like it'll, you know, certain frequencies, like I said, you get a hug from somebody, chemicals release in your body because, okay, the love that you're showing somebody will raise chemicals that'll fight shit. You know what I'm saying? Like it's, or you know what I'm saying?
Right. You're right.
Is
this is scientific. These are facts.
Yes.
It helps your immune system. Right.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, and if you're sad and down and, you know, like, you know, because what is it, cortisol or what, like you, I mean, because I mean, one way or the other, you're triggering different chemicals in the body, and but you can you know, have some adrenaline come sparking out here, some what's the DMT, you know, I forget what, but some positive things, you know, just having a smile. So it's just, we can't shut ourselves off from those things that really make people, like the reason why we, you know, exist along with others is because we need those things.
Man, we should
Like,
go. We should go do that shit one time. All three of us go do that DMT.
oh yeah, I don't know, I'm scared of that shit. Like, you know what? Well, I don't know, cause I mean, the way some people, you know, maybe some of it I could try, but what's that?
There's other ways to do the same thing.
The
You could do
frogs,
the mushrooms or the frogs or something. Yeah.
The toad, like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. No, I don't know. I'm kind of scared of that shit.
Yeah, I'm scared of the toad. I ain't gonna lie, but I would try like with mushrooms or something like that, something more natural. I don't want it to be a synthetic thing that they made in the fucking lab.
Nah, the frog venom, you have to do that with a shaman, but yeah, that's natural. Uh, yeah, and then there's the other one. What's the other one? I forget the other one. It's not as potent as the toad, but it still gives you that same kind of trip, you know. But I think I would be afraid of the LSD, but to be able to do some natural shit like that could give you a trip, bro, to give you
that's
that
the part
outer
that
body, the most vulnerable state in your life, to see outside of yourself, like that'd be some awesome shit to try at least once.
I think that's something that we might have available on, because I've missed all of our you know, well, not all, well, I've missed most of our you know, when the headquarters of our government get together, and damn, what they call it, the summit. So like I've promised myself I'm not missing any more, and then, like, we going to New Mexico next time. Not New Mexico, Mexico City, not New Mexico. We're going to Mexico City and do some stuff down there. And I think that's one of the places where you can go and do it. And it's like some of the purest, most natural things. So, I mean, I'm still somewhat kind of nervous about, you know, trying it, but like from here to then, because it's still like maybe 10 months from now, or you know, I still got some time, so I'm kind of debating on potentially trying it there. But yeah, I I definitely don't want to, do like I'm my body's so, like I don't even smoke pot no more, bro. You know what I'm saying? So my body, like that's the part where I'm kind of afraid because I feel like I at least had a certain tolerance before for certain stuff. So I don't know, but we'll see. I'll let y'all know if I do it.
Yeah, I never did that either. I've always thought about it too.
Yeah.
I want to get back to this topic. Let me play a little bit of this.
Or dining is the pinnacle of human existence is a little bit laughable. I've held back on a laugh. I think that it is a serious concern that kids might not be able to get to school. I think that is one of the things that I don't have children, but I found myself thinking multiple times during the pandemic that I don't know how parents are dealing with not being able to send their kid into school. I would say that once again, I'm forced to contend with the difference between what we wish were true versus what is true. What is true is that if we are sending our children into school, we're exposing them potentially repeatedly to COVID. Children can and do get long COVID and die of COVID-19 infection. They do spread it. They do bring it back home. They spread it to their relatives, some of whom may be vulnerable. And one of the other things that I found myself surprised at hearing is this idea that there is this group of others called vulnerable people. There is not a group of others called vulnerable people. Every time a person gets infected with a major pathogen, and it doesn't have to be COVID, let's broaden the conversation. It can be anything of enough serious consequence. Every time that makes them a little bit more vulnerable. So this idea that there is this fenced off group of people who are at risk, and then there's the rest of us who are not at risk, is also quite a fiction. There is a
Director Seltzer, I'm just parroting language that I think both of you have used about the, disproportionately Black and brown people being under-vaccinated in the beginning, like that, and people who are disabled in particular feeling abandoned by the idea that if most of us are probably not going to have the worst effects of COVID, then we should all take our masks off when they have to still rely on those kinds of protections to protect themselves from very bad outcomes indeed. So I take your point, but I also think that we have to acknowledge everyone here has brought up this idea that part of what is so insidious about the social policy as it's being implemented now is that it assumes that everybody is as robust as a 24-year-old college student who is vaxxed and boosted at least once, when that's not the case. What do you say to that?
So I would say that there are two categories, right? There's the category of folks who were disabled when the pandemic began, and the impact on them has been obviously disproportionate in terms of they are still not safe to go out in public unmasked. In some spaces, they are criticized in public for doing what it takes to keep themselves safe, which I think is absurd.
Of course.
But I think that there's also the category of people who are becoming disabled by this pandemic. And that is a huge number, as we just discussed. And this idea that, well, if you're 24 and healthy, you're protected. The two spikes in onset for infection-associated chronic disease are in the late teens and the late 20s. So this idea that that only elderly people or people who are previously and obviously at risk are the ones who are affected is not correct. And the vast majority of people who are at greater risk are entirely unaware that they're at greater risk. And they will only know after they have had their first, second, or fourth bout of COVID. And the risk of long-term consequences appears to increase with each infection, contrary to what people say about infection protecting you or even being good for you.
Yeah, I want you to drill down on that point a little bit more, because I do think that was the weakest aspect of Dr. Prasad's argument, where he teed up kind of the potential aggregate consequences of getting boosters, at least in their current form, 20 more or however many more over the course of your life, against the protective benefit of the initial round of vaccines, which he says we don't know how long they last until we see kind of another spike in hospitalizations. Then, there's a kind of presumption that that's doing a lot of good work for most of the population for a long period of time. Now, I said to him, well, that's all well and good unless you're one of the people that's represented in the spike in hospitalizations and death. Oops, now we realize that people need to get boosted again. You know what I mean? But I also think that there wasn't as much of a conversation in that episode about long COVID. And I think that there's a lot of, there's weird social pressure against almost even having a credible, being too credulous about long COVID because of the way that people who have experienced it, do talk about it from the disability community, are undermined and like kind of poo-pooed in the way that they always have been, especially women who talk about their longer term health concerns. And so what are the stats as we know them? And I want to bring you back in, Dr. Feldman, who obviously both can speak to this. What do we know? What do we know about long COVID at this point? I saw you were tweeting a recent article in the Atlantic that got into some of the particulars. What do you think that people should be more aware of that they're not?
That is an excellent question. Thank you for asking that. So, first of all, infection-associated chronic illness is nothing new. We've known about it for decades. In fact, at ME Action, we produced multiple materials at the beginning of 2020, anticipating that long COVID would be a huge problem. We have often talked to NIH and CDC. We begged them to tell people about long-term consequences of infection, and they were not very open to hearing about promoting the idea that you can be sick forever.
What did they say? What was the pushback like?
The pushback was like, just because other viral, bacterial, fungal infections have caused long-term consequences that are very similar to each other, including other coronaviruses like SARS and MERS, doesn't mean that this one will.
And as data emerge that show that it was occurring, has that response changed at all?
Oh, has the response changed? Yes, I think that CDC does now have some information up about long COVID. And once it became clear that it was happening, they were responsive to a greater degree. I would give credit where it's due. However, we should have anticipated this. In fact, when I was working at Stanford, myself and another researcher were wondering what it would ever take to get more funding for these kinds of diseases, which, as you said, have been downplayed historically. And we said a pandemic. And then we're horrified with ourselves because
it didn't answer the question.
Yeah, I'm listening to you talk, and I can't help but think that I think some of the inattention to this issue is bad faith actors. Some of it is the recognition or a kind of pessimistic attitude about living in a world where we don't expect that. The government won't even send us free tests anymore. How is it ever going, if it acknowledges the huge toll that something like long COVID takes on people, it's not going to provide. This is I think what's going on cognitively with people. What are they going to do? Give us sick leave? Pay us to stay home? Give us medical care? We obviously don't live in that world under the best conditions. And you can see this kind of tension, I think, building in people's minds where they don't want to even wrestle with what the consequences will be of this.
Because the consequences are unimaginable. Absolutely.
To say the freaking least.
Brutal. This was brutal because I'm keyed in. I'm listening. I'm waiting for something.
She is official lady, so that's the reason why that's the way she's talking. And then you got
little cute chick.
She's trying to be very careful about how she does it. So that's why it makes it difficult.
I get it. I find myself stuttering and clamoring a little, from time to time because of that same very issue. But, at the same time, if you're going to speak on it, go on and speak on it.
Yeah, she
Just
had the
that-
lady there. She should have ate her up. I think she does a bit more later in the video. Let me read some comments underneath it. This one says, Bree pushed back on a lot of great questions, and maybe I need to just watch the full video and I missed something, but it seems like there really wasn't an answer to the question of trust. Bree did an amazing job at trying to get them both to discussing this, but it seemed, especially for Dr. Seltzer, that the answer was that people just need to trust them because they know better, and how else are regular people supposed to know? That's the whole point. Regular people don't trust institutions, so they are not all going to take their word for gospel. There is no self-reflection on how to fix this, just to dismiss it, which will get everyone nowhere. Just because you are a doctor doesn't give you an automatic trust. Although I enjoyed the discussion and always loved Bree, it was kind of despairing to watch because it seems like everyone on every side continues to dig their heels in. And that's what I felt like the lady was doing. She was like, and I wanted Bree to be more, freaking chopping her up. I could see where she was getting at. But the lady was just like she said about immunity, because she mentioned the immunities, and she said that no, she said it means that you're going to get sicker each time you catch it. Basically saying that immunity is working in the opposite way. That's against everything that I understand about that stuff. Now, hey, I'm not a doctor, but I never heard anyone say that you catch it, you get sicker each time or whatever. I mean, maybe that's true. Maybe I just don't know.
That goes against just, I don't know, what we know. It's not about really what you're taught. It's just what you know. Well, I guess you can say taught. I don't know, bro. I've never, I don't know. I think they want you to believe that you get sicker each time you get it. If you're going by the way of just getting it and hoping your body becomes immune to it, so that you go and get the vaccination. I think
So they
they
can keep
want
on giving you
100%. Yeah, they want
stuff.
100% vaccinated citizens.
And later on, they're going to come out with some kind of pills or something, because they're talking about long COVID. So it's like, okay, they're going to have it perpetually forever. So you're just going to have to deal with it. But we got
been around. Why are they talking about long COVID? Dude, COVID has been on the fucking Lysol bottle for as long as I've known how to fucking read, bro. Like, and I'm 35 years old. So it's like, what they mean, long COVID? This shit has been here. It's been around. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let me read this comment. It says, I received 2 Pfizer doses and then later a Moderna booster. Especially with the Moderna booster, I'm pretty sure what I felt in the following weeks was myocarditis. While I'm supportive of COVID vaccines, generally speaking, I think it is valid to be cautious about Moderna, in particular when it comes to younger males. And even with Pfizer, spacing out doses wider apart for younger males could provide value given the population's higher risk for myocarditis.
Yep.
Another comment, it says, trust the science means just do what they tell you and stop arguing. They own the science and Fauci is the science. I don't know about the Fauci part, but in the video, it's like, that's what the whole question is asking you about trust. And then basically, like the lady said in the comment, like, all they have to say is that, how can regular people understand this? So they just have to go with what we say. So we're like, wait a minute, that's not a good enough answer. Wait. You trying to say I'm dumb? You trying to say I can't understand this? Break it all the way down for me, bro.
That's what they telling you. That's what they trying to tell you.
Let me read another comment. This one says, not to be overly picky, but it would have been helpful to put up the numbers or graphs that showed the official numbers. I think it would have grounded the discussion more in facts instead of theory and social commentary politics. And also, it would have put a little more light on who, what, where, when, and our official numbers calculated. I think there are numerous questions of the keeping of statistics. There are even questions about possible incentives for institutions to produce certain statistics that might provide a benefit. This gets into a sanctity of institutions that I alluded to in the other comment, which of course taboo for anybody inside of those institutions. It is kind of like speculating about big tech manipulation of analytics. It is opaque that we don't have a chance of finding out what is going on in the back end, so to speak. If it wasn't for a few leaks, we would have been in the dark about how the state is looking at everything and even giving the cloud companies billions and billions to help them sift through it. Here I am talking about these same... Oh, shit, I lost it. Here I am talking about the same billionaires again. Okay. Let me read some more. Another comment, it says, I would like to see maybe the docs and others come together and present their cases along with their data in a long form discussion, laying out both sides of this. Another one, it says, I have severe pain in arms and wrists directly after my second shot, which has only now subsided. Definitely influenced my opinion of the shots. Another one, Seltzer makes a point that should be prerequisite in any interview. How do you receive funding from? And who do you receive funding from? In my opinion, this should be the first question asked to anyone being platformed. Yeah.
Yeah. They keep giving life to this shit too, bro. That's the biggest thing. Oh, it's only gonna give. Oh, we're approaching flu season, and you know it was the same thing they did last year in 2021. You know, everybody let's brace for this because now it's getting cold and the virus is just gonna stick around and
it's the
yada,
new
yada,
normal.
yada.
It's gonna be every year. And they're going to keep on making money. They got a whole new freaking industry they just opened up.
Yeah.
And they're going to make money every year after this.
Yeah.
You know, control is part of it, but making money, you know, is another. Extracting resources. Because the money is a part of the control, you know. You have to pay for this stuff.
Yep.
They're already pinching us in every way with inflation, the prices of the food. So here goes another thing you have to pay for. Go ahead and get that flu shot and that booster 3, because you have to do that.
I'm not getting either one. We'll just take you a pneumonia shot. You'll be all right.
Who got to take it?
Nobody.
Shit, everybody got to take it to be an upstanding citizen, to do the right thing, and anyways, the doctors are recommending it. Sometimes the schools, like the lady was saying at the beginning of what she was talking about, she was complaining about the kids going to schools, but what I'm hearing is that they'll force you to take the tests or get the shots and stuff like that to be able to attend whatever here, there, and whatever.
They might offer it, but they ain't gonna make nobody take nothing. They might recommend or suggest, you know, some. But they ain't gonna make nobody do nothing.
Chaka, I don't want to hear come winter. Man, they were talking about taking it at the university. I went on, got the shot, man.
they forced me. They said I can't take my classes. I ain't gonna lie. I'm liable to be saying that if they freaking say that.
Man, fuck them classes, shit.
Well, you know,
they got online school. Fuck that.
Yeah, you know, I ain't gonna play with it. Like, I mean, you know, like I said, I already know. I mean, all I gotta do is shit. I can get a letter written up, and I don't even have to notarize it, but I'll even notarize it. Bam! Look, y'all leave me the hell alone, and my son.
Yeah. See, that's what I would be looking for. I'd be looking for some kind of exemption. Be like, can I find some kind of exemption for this shit?
There's other ones out there that I mean, it would give it because mine is more of a it's a medical exemption, but
Yeah, I
there's
know it. Tell them motherfuckers that you found cases where people who took the vaccine, they began to experience erectile dysfunction. You young and still can produce. They want you to produce them babies, so they gonna give you an exemption.
That's fucked up. I want to play this before we go. I don't want to stay much longer because it's Saturday night. I know people I don't know if people be into politics on Saturday night. And I hope I don't get in trouble for playing this because it looks like something that could possibly be copyright. But let me read the caption. It says, during dinner, the system feeds the few who consume all the resources while the rest survive on scraps. Inevitably, the struggle for what remains leads to a catastrophic change. The offsprings of this transition turns out not to be a sign of hope, but the spitting image of the parents. And that doesn't really make sense, but when you read this, when you watch this, it'll make more sense. So, but this doesn't have any words. So, are any of y'all driving?
nah.
Me,
You driving?
I'm sneaking and driving. Yeah.
Damn. So, well, just you can just hear the sounds and I guess watch it back later. But because this is very visual to get it. So, and I guess after it's over, I'll do like a maybe while it's going, I could do like a commentary and kind of explaining what's happening. That's a good idea for the audio listeners, and because like it's really like the idea of revolution. So like the tiger is the revolution. The cats are the regular people. The pigs that's sitting at the table are like the politicians and leaders and stuff. And then they are chained. They are chained to the table while they just consume, and they can't even leave the table because they're chained to it. Um, and so it's like the chains kind of represent corruption, and it's also like a snake. When one of the cats made it under the table and saw the chains, and was never seen again. Like that cat could see what was happening, and something happened to him. The snake got him, whatever. Nobody saw him no more. The word didn't get out. Anyways, let me play this, and I think I'm gonna try to explain it while it's playing. It says, "Those who eat their fill speak to the hungry of wonderful times to come." The other part of the hotel where they were is gone, though. That piece is missing with holes in the roof and everything. And now they're in another room. So you could see that at some point this cycle won't be able to continue.
Yep.
I don't know. I think it was really touching to me, and I think it says a lot. I want to
About
read
what happens in our government.
right, our society. We are the cats are the people, the regular folks. And when they can't, let me read these comments because some of these comments kind of breaks it down. Let me read some comments. It says, this is the first comment. It says, "I like how when a single cat looks under the table and discovers the snake which bound all the pigs together, how it was taken from the masses and never seen again. This speaks to how individuals on their own, like whistleblowers, Assange, cannot change a corrupt system unless all the people notice it too and rise up." Another comment, it says, this is breaking it down. It says cats represent folks, the pigs represent politicians, the cook represents time, and the tiger represents revolution. The room is nature, the food is resources, and the chain is corruption. It's so much meaning in it. Let me read another comment. It says, excellent short film. One thing that struck me, the wind-up mouse toy used to distract the cats. It happens regularly. Regular hot news topics purportedly used as distractions. The people only transform into the tiger when hungry enough to ignore the distractions, but we need to start seeing them for what they are, far before we reach the point of desperation. Excellent message. Let me see another comment. It says the creatures outside looked from pig to man, and from man to pig, and from pig to man again, but already it was impossible to say which was which. Another comment. I love the metaphor of how the meek and begging cats representing the common folk turn into a powerful tiger when their efforts are united. We truly are stronger together, and we are slain when we allow ourselves to be divided again. Another comment, it says, I like how the food is made out of random junk, just like the food we have. Another comment, it says, I just can't believe the epic short story has not been watched by many people yet. Guys, don't forget to share this. What do y'all think? Are y'all getting any of this? Am I losing y'all?
Nah, I got it. I got exactly when you started playing it. I was catching glimpses and pieces of it, but I got exactly. It relates to what we dealing with in society.
Yeah, I think this little video is really, really profound.
It's like telling a story without telling a story.
Yeah. And it kind of forces you to think too. And then it's like, how far are we along this cycle? How many times have the cycles gone? You know, how much is left of the house? You know, how much longer can we keep doing this? And is that what's going to keep happening? Is it just going to be a never-ending cycle of people struggling, revolution,
What's going on today?
and then we just go back to the same thing again? Like, so it's like the people who did the revolution, like he cut the people, the tiger, he killed the guy, slayed the tiger, he killed the revolution. So, but then he took the babies out of the revolution and made them into the new pigs. So it's like they come up and then they become corrupted, you know, they get binded by that corruption, and then there goes the cycle again until the, you know, so the fat cats that wasn't the fat cats of yesteryear they were the babies of the revolution of the past. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. And they get programmed by the scary parents or guardians, and now they're causing havoc on
the people, you know, and then the people get to the point where they've had enough, and they slay the fat cats, and then some new people fucking just replaces them, and the cycle fucking starts over again. God damn, that's so sad and depressing.
Very.
Yeah.
So, but maybe, you know, if the cycle has to be broken. I mean, it has to be a new cycle, because you always have to have cycles. But
yes,
I think that it would have to go into a new cycle, different kind of cycle, one that doesn't include, you know, the masses suffering and getting to the point where their suffering is unbearable, where they have to, revolt and go to war with their government
or with each other. Because I mean, at this point, the government is damn near untouchable, and then like the anger that would ensue still, and then like people who side with those others, that's who that's who they're gonna take out. Whoever agrees more with the people that they don't like the most, that's who they want to take out. Well, bro, I gotta go. I'm
Yeah, it's almost 2 a.m. here. Where you at, anyways?
It's practically 2 a.m. here. I'm in Tennessee. I forget what part, but I was in Alabama earlier, this morning, but and I didn't drive a whole lot today. I've been trying to take care of some things, some other business. So I stopped and try to get some of that stuff done, which I'll probably be doing some more of that tomorrow. But however, I'm beat, man. That's the thing. Like I try to get a little nap in, which it helped a little, but I'm kind of in and out.
It's all good, man. Yeah, I'm about to wrap it anyways.
Yeah. Well, love and happiness, man.
Love and happiness. Make you do wrong. Make you do right.
Yeah, man.
Anyways,
I
yeah,
love that song.
I'm gonna just wrap it anyways. Peace and love, y'all. Thank y'all for joining. Thank y'all for listening. We'll be back next week.
Yep, peace and love.
Get y'all some rest.
Like, subscribe, and dump some money in the cash jar.
Yeah, do that. Do that.
Holler at y'all later.
Yep. Peace and love. Thank y'all for joining.